Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Liam Looks At. I'm just pumping these out as quickly as I possibly can. And today we are looking at Fallout, the original that started it all back in 1997. So obviously everybody knows Fallout from Bethesda, but this is the original game, came from Interplay. And yeah, I was actually excited to get into this one. It's not something that I had planned to really ever play. These are not my type of games. But this year I decided to do a little game challenge to play every single Fallout game. So obviously we got to start at the beginning. This game follows the Vault Dweller. That's what your character is known as he or she is tasked with actually finding a water chip in order to save the inhabitants of Vault 13. You're kind of told, you're the only one who can do this. Go out into the world and find us a water chip so we can survive. Game actually starts off pretty quickly. You get a quick little conversation with the overseer, and then you're right into combat with some rats that have caused a lot of heartache to many players. It acts as a tutorial, but I wouldn't really call it that. There's not really a lot of hand holding in this game. This game came out at a different time and heavily relies on actually checking the manual, which thankfully enough, the Steam version does come with a PDF version of the manual, but I didn't use it just because, this day and age, I can just check the wiki or check YouTube or guides and things like that. But I definitely, was nice that I had that. I can check some hotkeys and things like that. And that was obviously good that they include that, because the game really doesn't tell you anything. I mean, it doesn't tell you how to heal yourself. It doesn't tell you how to equip things. It doesn't tell you how to move. It doesn't tell you how to shoot. It just really throws you in there and says good luck. So gameplay wise, it plays actually, personally, I think very closely to the Bethesda games. I know when you see the gameplay, you're like, this is nothing like Fallout. But when you actually are playing it, it feels very similar, minus the combat, which is obviously turn-based. You're going to be traveling across the wasteland. You're going to be meeting with NPCs, completing quests, searching for, at least in the beginning, the water chip, and really just doing the things that you would do in any Fallout game, minus 76, which I know is a little bit more of an MMO. Combat is turn-based, as I mentioned, but once you get the feel for it, the system feels very satisfying, as it's more about positioning than it is about just, I do this much damage or I can attack this many times, because knowing when to move closer and farther away can be a massive, improvement to your combat experience and enjoyment. And once I figured it all out, it really did click for me. I was kind of figuring out, okay, I'm going to go this way, so then they have to move, because a lot of the enemies, especially in the beginning, they got to get close to you as well, so they're going to use some of their action points to move. So if you move a little bit and get them to move with you, you can essentially dictate what they can do in their turn. As I said, the game does not hold your hand, and I felt that really in the second half. I feel like the first half, hey, find the water chip, cool, got it. It was pretty easy. You could almost ask anybody about the water chip, and they're going to say, go here, go here, go here, and you can go to those places. The second half of the game, I kind of had an understanding of what I was doing, just because I had made some choices early on that led me to, I know where I'm kind of going with it. But the last quest, specifically, like the last area, I had to just look it up. I couldn't get anyone to tell me anything about my second quest. So once I had done what I thought was the right thing to do, which is go meet the Brotherhood, that was it. They were like, okay, we're happy. And nobody told me, like, you have to go to this final location. So I had to look it up, which I think, unfortunately, kind of soured the second half of the game for me. I know that I probably was playing a little bit faster than normal people. But I definitely wish that they had given me a little more insight on what I was supposed to do that second half, because it pretty much just says you, hey, eradicate super mutants. And it's like, okay, I did that. I went to their whole base, and that was just a side mission. That wasn't the main mission I was supposed to be doing. So I was very confused on how I was supposed to kind of finish this up. The game is a classic for a reason, but it definitely would benefit from a few quality of life improvements. The inventory management is extremely clunky, and menus are just way too cluttered. I had a moment, and I don't have it because I played off stream, but I had a moment where I had my backpack, and I thought, okay, cool, backpack, I can put a bunch of stuff in there. There was no way to empty that backpack. I looked it up online. Really, the way that people said was to just empty it on the ground and pick it back up. So the only benefit of it was to put a bunch of stuff that I wasn't sure what I want to do with it and put it on my companion. I also had issues. Speaking of inventory management, I had issues figuring out how much I could carry. I saw what my maximum weight was like when I was there, and I guess I could have written it down. I didn't see anywhere where it says, you know, 100 out of 120 or something like that. I would only know that I was over encumbered really when it said you can't pick up anything else. That to me was kind of a bummer because, especially in the later half of the game, the guns get really, really heavy and big and things like that. And granted, I had the Alien Blaster. I played this game on easy with the Alien Blaster. So once I found that, pretty much the rest of the game was a breeze. But I definitely wanted to pick up some of these other weapons and use them or sell them. And it was just like, no, I guess I didn't know I didn't have enough space. So that kind of was a bummer. But obviously, when you have the Alien Blaster, makes the game pretty simple. Some tasks, like actions, take like 2 to 3 different actions to complete, where I think making it one would have sped it up and made the experience much smoother, such as, if you want to lockpick something, you have to click on the lockpick or click on your lockpicking skill, depending on what you're using, click on the actual lock, then you unlock it, then you got to go and actually click on the door, and then you got to click on open the door. And it's that is for healing the same thing. Instead of just, I wish you could just drag a healing item to yourself. That's what I tried in the beginning. But you got to click on it, then scroll down to the actual use mechanic. And it's not something that affects combat. It's really just, this would have been a lot easier if you could have just dragged it over your body or just double clicked it or something like that. So there was moments where I felt like, oh, I wish I could just speed this up a little bit, especially in the end when I was lockpicking 15 to 16 lockers, and it was like, you unlocked it. Now I open it. Now I grab the stuff out of it. Now I grab my lockpick to do the next one. You unlocked it. Same, over and over again. Overall, this is definitely a certified classic. It's definitely worth trying. It seems really daunting to me. I was really nervous that I wouldn't be able to beat it. But I tried it on easy, and I think that was the right way of going about it. I have obviously some regrets because I definitely want to play the game as intended. But I think because of how this game is and how punishing it can be, playing on easy really wasn't that much different than the normal difficulty. So yeah, I think that the world is worth exploring. It has so much depth, and it's definitely something that I would recommend to people if you have played the Bethesda games and you're wanting more of this world. This is the most you're going to get in terms of world building. There's a ton I didn't do, and so I hope when I get to Fallout 2, now that I have a little bit more experience, I'll be able to do more with it. But yeah, that is a quick Liam looks at of Fallout, the role-playing game. And we're going to be back with some more games. But yeah, thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.